Shoppe channel. I am John here with Jeremy Chapman today. We're going to be talking about guitars. I know you're holding a mandolin, but that's not what we're going to do.
I feel more comfortable that way.
We're actually going to talk about this guitar right here. This is the Eastman E20D. Well, we're back one more time, and we're going to talk about one of the staples in our arsenal of guitars. This is one of the most sold guitars that we have ever had in our shop. And before we get into all of the details of it, I would love for you guys to please like and subscribe to this channel. Tell everybody about it. Share it to everybody. Comment. Do all that stuff in order to keep us going. Because
let's start a chain. Like if you break the chain, bad luck will come your way. But if you send this out to 20 people and they subscribe, then good luck comes my way.
Is that the deal? Anyway, it really does help a channel like ours so that we can continue to do this stuff, because that is the whole point of this. If nobody's watching it, then we just...
we got a crew here that costs a fortune. We need some YouTube viewers.
That's not good. Anyway, please do that. As always, we do have an entire performance video of a tune that I have loved from the very beginning. That's Little Sadie, kind of done in the Tony Rice style. Wrong key, but it was close enough. And you get to see the lick that I tried to do really, really hard.
It took about 30 takes, but you got it.
I almost got it. Almost. Anyway.
But you can skip to that video. And also, if you just want tone samples of this guitar, they are at the end of this, and all those are in the description below. Yep. So you don't have to listen to us talk if you don't want to, but we invite you to do it because I think you'll enjoy yourself.
There's going to be some pretty important stuff said here.
So we have become the largest Eastman acoustic dealer in the world.
In the world. Da, 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 da.
Don't do that. That's copywritten. Anyway. Oh. And in part by this guitar right here. Sorry, banjo band.
That was not a banjo band. That was just a horn reference. I don't know. The Queen comes and they go da 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 da.
It sounded a little too much.
I didn't go bump ba ba ba. See, there's the difference.
Anyway. The E20D is one of the guitars that helped us reach that status level, and it's kind of like Martin. Everybody knows the D18 and the HD28, right?
That's right.
Those are kind of
or the D28.
The D28. Those are the biggest two models. Mm-hmm. And with Eastman, it's probably the E10D and the E20D would be like comparable versions of that, correct?
I would agree, as well as their counterparts, but even more so, you're correct. The E10, the E20Ds, this was one of the first guitars we ever got into our shop when we started this. When we started the acoustic shop, Eastman was our first big dealer and our vendor, and we were the first, well, it was our first dealership. Yeah. So E10s, E20s, the basic premise of those was very much based on the Martin D18 and D28. The E20D being their D28 or HD28 as it, modified. And I guess it's worth actually talking about that. The Martin guitar that everybody knows as the D28 has actually gone through many changes. We have this discussion quite often. The D28 that everybody thinks that they want to buy is not necessarily the guitar that is being built today as the D28. And what I mean by that is the most popular version of the D28 is the 1935 to 39-ish, 37, that kind of era of the D28. What that had was an Adirondack spruce top, scallop bracing, forward shifted bracing, quite a bit of thing, and herringbone trim. That original one had herringbone trim all the way around. They changed it.
Also rosewood back and sides.
Rosewood back and sides, as all, D28s all have. That guitar changed and kind of went through some modifications with bracing and changes throughout the years. And the Adirondack top went away, went to a Sitka spruce top due to, just having more of them and all kinds of things. So anyway, it is not quite the same guitar. Then came the HD28 in the 1970s, brought back herringbone. In fact, I think it was 77. Brought back herringbone and brought back scallop bracing. Still kept that backward shifted X-brace, but it was kind of like that compromise. And that probably, up until recently, was probably the most, closest representation.
In the 30s, was it always Brazilian or was it Indian?
Those would have been Brazilian rosewood, correct. Indian rosewood didn't show up until, I believe, 1969.
When Brazilian became illegal,
became illegal to import or export, or at least harder to do so. And we went to Indian rosewood. Like I said, lots and lots of changes have been done. And lots of companies have copied that sound because it is a quintessential sound in American music. This is just Martin guitars, especially the D28 and D18, were the king. Even more so, like I said, the D28. Everybody had one. You think of all your favorites throughout the decades. Bob Dylan, he used a D28. You go back to your bluegrass and country stars. Almost everybody had a D28 of some sort at some point. So anyway, Eastman built their own version of it. The cool thing about the 10 and 20 series, those guitars did bring back Adirondack tops. And everybody goes, well, why is that important? Jared, do you know why that's important?
It is important because Adirondack is normally a bit stiffer wood, so they can shave it a little thinner and give you a lot of resonance without it kind of... I think what happens with Sitka a lot of times is you overdrive it and it's going great for a while, then if you get too loud with your playing, it just kind of like almost its own compressor on it, where it just kind of clamps out, where Adirondack is a lot more stiff and can handle
keep
up with it, handle
Absolutely.
up that much volume.
I would agree with that. Exactly what Jeremy said. The Adirondack spruce per square inch stronger, and the advantage when we start dealing with high-end built guitars, it's always a game of how light can I build this without it suffering structural problems. That's what the game is always about. Eastman has been able to kind of really do a great job at an affordable price by fighting that whole idea and hand voicing every single guitar and every top, making sure that the bracing is just right and do what they can to make it as light as possible. So now we get that advantage of an Adirondack spruce top that they can build thinner and still get the same power and structural integrity out of it, and yet get, like you said, more volume, more punch, a little bit like it does not give up. When you hit it, it just keeps on going all the way through it. So there's your big advantage of the E20 versus, in their case, Eastman's case, the E8. Exactly the same built guitar, looks exactly the same except for an Adirondack spruce top on the E20 versus the E8D will have a Sitka spruce top.
And I think interesting thing for people just discovering Eastman is knowing that the Adirondack spruce top that they're getting is from a mill here in Missouri that most of the guitar manufacturers also buy from that same mill. Because I mean, Adirondack comes from like the Northeast. Canada,
or even up into Virginia, down as far as Virginia.
So it's a North American wood,
yeah.
But there's only a certain number of mills that mill it specifically for guitar tops, and one of them being is it Old Standard here in Missouri, and that's where Eastman's getting their wood. They buy large bunches of it. Same wood that a lot of the other guitar builders are doing.
Some of the biggest ones.
Some of the biggest ones will charge you about $1,000 upgrade just for the top. So if you got a standard one with Sitka, you said I'd like to add a Adirondack spruce top to that. That's a $1,000 upcharge.
That, like, you're dead on. It's almost averages exactly $1,000. Some companies upwards of $1,100. Now, it is an important point to make sure that we get. These companies that are adding $1,000 upcharge, they're starting with a $4,000 to $6,000 guitar, adding $1,000 to put that top on there. Where it really kind of pays off here is we're talking about a guitar that is around the $1,600, $1,800 price point done
with the
top. You know, so basically another $600 or $800, you got a guitar.
Yeah.
Not just a top, but a guitar with a top, Jared.
And then they're still doing the hand scalp bracing.
Absolutely.
And these are kind of in between the forward shifted and...
This is their own deal. A lot of people ask, is this a forward shifted? It is not a forward shifted. It is a back shifted, but it is their own placement, their own voicing to be able to do that. And again, they just played with the top thicknesses and the how they scallop the braces in order to get it closer to that pre-war tone. It is not a forward shift, but it does kind of tend to add some of that flavor and power to the guitars. Eastman does a really good job again at this, at a very affordable guitar, because this does come with a hard shell case, does come with a bone nut and saddle, you know, their own lacquer finish, lifetime warranty, and it's also become a really cool thing because lately they have actually teamed up with Bourgeois, which everybody knows Dana as
boutique guitar builder.
Boutique guitar builder, and also a master of voicing guitars and voicing tops, and has been working with the folks over in China to be able to do some things and bring some of those points into these guitars, including new, thinner, and you know, tighter bracing that they had not done before, and showed them how to kind of do that, and again, not suffer the structural integrity.
And the true tone finish is also a Bourgeois development as well. Yeah,
exactly. So Again, very powerful guitar, been a staple in the acoustic shop arsenal for a very long time, has gone through a couple little changes, but overall, the same guitar and a very affordable option. I mean, this is still way under what most people's offering anywhere near this type of specs of a guitar, and yet you're getting an Adirondack spruce top, and all these other add-ons. So kudos to them. I think it's a great choice. If you're on a budget, I think E20D is one of those guitars you need to make sure you try out, because it does kind of stack up there with those big boys, as well as those folks who have that super high-end guitar who just want something that's more affordable to kind of carry around and not worry about as much. I've seen a lot of customers who have done that.
Yeah, absolutely. So. And that's one of the things. You can add this to your collection if you're needing another rosewood guitar, something you might feel a little bit more comfortable flying with or traveling with. It's a great option. But we've also had some customers, not to say anything, Martin obviously is a legendary, incredible builder, so not to knock them at all, but we've had people that have said, hey, I put this up against my Martin and it definitely held its own, or I decided I'm going to trade that Martin in so I have some money to buy a different guitar. So I think it's not only a great bargain, but it keeps up with a lot of the guitars. I challenge people to try them neck to neck with their own guitar and see what opinion they have. And if you guys have done that, put that in the comments below. If you found that it did keep up or you found that it was lacking in any way, we'd love to hear your opinion on that.
Sure. So what we're going to do right now is kind of give you a little tone sample of this particular guitar.
Appreciate you guys watching that video. It was my favorite one we've made so far. We've done hundreds of videos and that was the best one.
It was.
And the next one's going to be even better. If you'd like to see that, be sure you subscribe to this channel. And also, the more you comment and interact below, the more the YouTube algorithms pick it up and start pushing it out to other people, like-minded people.
Algorithms?
Algorithms, they're everywhere. They permeate the internet, and YouTube's got one, and it watches our videos and it sees how much you comment, and then it pushes us to other people like you. And we want everyone to experience the acoustic shop world, where we talk about instruments, we do reviews, we got some fun videos coming up. We thank you guys so much for being a part of it, and we'll see you in the next video.